Another sensational performance by Anthony Edwards, 44 points, but none of his teammates stepped it up. Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year, was getting cooked by Jokic and other players, had 5 turnovers. Karl Anthony Towns was the second highest scorer for the Timberwolves. He had 13 points on 5 of 18 shooting. I get why he shot in such high volume because last game he had 14 points, but he was 4 for 7, so he needed to up the percentages. But I feel bad for Anthony Edwards because he's expected to have a minimum of 30 to 40 points per night. They're comparing him to Michael Jordan, so he's expected to show up, yet Karl Anthony Towns didn't show up the last 2 games. And when Karl Anthony Towns shows up, and Anthony Edwards has these historical performances, which he's been having, they're unbeatable. Like when Karl Anthony Towns scores anywhere from 20 to 27 points, which he did in the first 2 games, the Timberwolves are unbeatable. But 13 to 14 points, 5 of 18 shooting tonight is not going to get it done. I also expected Naz Reid to play better. He had 11 points. I want to see him take more 3-point attempts. I thought he was driving into the basket too much. He looked a little bit rushed. It's weird how the energy changed from game 2, where you saw the Nuggets kind of looking a little bit more timid. The Timberwolves looking like the dogs. Game 3 and 4. Rudy Gobert's return. I don't understand how he's a Defensive Player of the Year 4 times when multiple times in those seasons he's won. He's shown that he's been a liability on the defensive side of the ball. 5 turnovers is terrible. But let's talk about how when the Minnesota Timberwolves general manager traded for him, he guaranteed Rudy that he would not sub him out when the other team goes to a small ball lineup. That should have been made a coach's decision. Utah subbed him out for a reason when the other team decided to go small, and it's because he was a liability on the defensive end. Meanwhile, Aaron Gordon was phenomenal, looking like a max contract player, went 11 of 12, only missed 1 shot, 27 points. And he was dictating offense from the paint when Jokic was out. He had 6 assists, 7 rebounds. I'm not like the media who's going to say, oh, I think this series is going to go one way or the other. They declared the Nuggets dead after game 2. But I think, logically speaking, it depends on what the counterparts of Minnesota start doing. In particular, definitely I would play Rudy Gobert less. Karl Anthony Towns and Naz Reid both need to step up. You won 6th Man of the Year award. You need to play like it. I'm a Golden State Warriors fan, and every time we played them, Naz Reid cooked us. So I'd like to see him step it up a little bit. Caldwell Pope, usually a knockdown shooter, only had 3 points. Reggie Jackson only had 6. Yeah, Aaron Gordon's 27 was enough. Jokic absolutely cooked Rudy Gobert, 35, 7, and 7. He did nothing to stop him. I argue that he made their defense a little bit worse.